So you guys just screened the season finale. Did you love it? I know you loved it. Applause. So I know that right now everyone's wondering if we have an update on One Day at a Time finding a new show. Mike, can you give us an update on that?
Oh, I wish I could. I mean, I can, but it's just we haven't found a place yet. What's that?
You could do a
fast one, yeah. We're still looking, but we have a bunch of, I'm not gonna say a bunch. We have a few places that are interested. It takes time, and we have to sort of gather the information about the places that are interested and figure out how to approach certain ones and coordinate. Sony is actually excellent. That's our studio, and we're really thankful to them because they're very aggressive about, they don't have a network, so they got to work their asses off to get stuff on some kind of air or streaming. So they've been extremely, extremely great about getting us out there and getting people interested, which they are. And so we'll hopefully I don't know, I can't put a time on it, but I'm hoping it's weeks rather than longer than that we can figure out a new home, because we don't want to stop doing this fucking show. Woo! I mean, right?
Yes. Okay, well, to satisfy our curiosities, Steven, what happens when you guys go to Cuba?
We have to wait for season 4.
That's right.
Okay, fair enough.
It turns into a political thriller. And Kiefer Sutherland's in it. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be.
And Steven can be like the new Liam Neeson, right?
Yeah. That's right.
I know that Rita and I, we shot that scene in Cuba. So we really did a lot. But they sent us over there, and but they had us smoking cigars. Rita and I smoking cigars. We shot that at what, like 7 in the morning?
Yes.
Like 7:30 in the
on
morning.
an enclosed stage.
That was very rough day on the set. You know? Of course, it didn't faze Rita at all.
Mr. Lear, you have been behind so many groundbreaking, important shows, and One Day at a Time is another one to add to your amazing list of shows. Critics have called the most recent season of One Day at a Time the best yet. Can you speak to why this series is a contender?
It's harder to speak to why Netflix has not picked it up, because we're all agreed. We've been connected to a number of shows, Mike and Stephen and Todd, and we've never seen press like this. I mean, the press has actually gone out of their way to say, pick it up. I don't ever remember that ever happening before. So it's a wonder that this show, which delights such a vast audience, is not picked up. Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir.
But can I ask a question?
Of course you can.
What are you doing here? Is this largely a group of people who love entertainment, love television, love film, or are you in the profession in various places? All of the above? And do you do this often? You come often to these? Huh? The ones.
Woo! Hey, man.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you being here. You're us. This is what we work for, to see you guys. Thank you. Good night.
Now you drop the mic. Just drop it. Like it's hot.
Justina, I don't want to embarrass you, but have you guys out there heard of a show called 6 Feet Under? I got introduced to Justina because I was such a fan of 6 Feet Under 100 years ago, and okay, just kidding. Listen, how you don't have stacked up Emmys in your house is beyond me, but Penelope is a role that absolutely should earn you an Emmy nomination. What has it meant for you as an actress to play this role, representing so many different communities as a veteran, as a single mom, so many different layers to her?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So many different layers to her. It's been everything. I've loved every single moment of it, and it's the greatest role I've said since that I have had thus far. It is the greatest role, and I mean, we're all actors in here, so you guys all know. It's like it's wonderful when we're not just when they don't just put us in a corner and we just do what we can. It's amazing that this is a part that's so layered and so beautiful that all the humor came out of honesty. I mean, it was so raw. It is so raw, not was. I shouldn't speak of it like that. It's raw. It's funny. It's fantastic. It's layered. And, we're telling this, and I feel like a broken record, but we are telling a universal story about love through the Latinx lens. And that is huge for us. And we're so proud of it. So it's been great.
Now, speaking of characters who have meant so much to so many communities, Isabella, you've been playing Elena, and you've gotten so much amazing feedback for her representation. What has it meant for you to play her on television, and what has the feedback been?
She's everything. I mean, Elena was my first series regular, so you can imagine how spoiled I've been, especially now that I'm back auditioning and stuff again. Y'all, how do you do 5 a week? Oh my God. It's crazy, but she's everything. This was my I've been doing this for a long time, but my real introduction to show business and to what it means to be an artist and work with artists. And it's been such an honor. It's so funny because people come up to me and they're like, thank you for playing her, and like, thank you for representing us. And I always say I didn't write the words. Our incredible writers and Mike and Gloria are the ones that came up with Elena, and I am lucky enough to be able to say them and get to connect with this incredible community. The LGBTQ community has embraced me in a way that I didn't expect. I've said this before, I was so unaware of the lack of representation that when we filmed season 1, I just thought it was another character. I was very privileged to grow up in a bubble where, like, if I had been LGBTQ or whatever, my parents would have been like, okay. So I didn't realize that it was that way. So the reaction has been so lovely. The fans are so full of love and willing to teach and wanting to teach, which I think is so special nowadays with this canceled culture. That shit's scary. And it's been the greatest ever. The fans are so loving. That's my biggest thing, is that especially with a character like this, you want to do it justice, and you want to make sure you're as aware as possible. And they never come to attack. They always come to teach and be like, hey, this could have been done better, or this is right. And it's the coolest thing ever. And also they make me laugh on Twitter all the time. So that's cool.
Brent, why was this a project that you knew you had to get behind?
I knew I had to get behind.
Yeah, when you read what this was about, what made you say, "Hey, I have to get behind this"?
A long story short, there was a meeting that I was in that an agent had said to me. There was a study that had just been paid for by Coca-Cola. They spent $10 million on who they wanted to market to over the next 10 years, and what came from that was single Latinx women with kids. In the same conversation I was having with him, we were looking at Norman's library of all the shows that he had done, and we thought about, what could we reimagine? And in this particular, it's a no-brainer. If that's what the study was looking towards, why not, give One Day at a Time a shot? So I asked Norman, would he mind if we pursued making a Latinx version of One Day at a Time? And
I said never. They did it anyway.
That's the truth.
I was like, you said that's the truth. I was like, he did.
So yeah, that was it. And then we went down the road, talked to Sony, and Sony introduced us to Mike, and then collectively to Gloria, and it was we like to say the best arranged marriage in town between Mike and Gloria, and the rest is history.
Todd, you had a very important episode this season, and you went inside the writer's room. The episode titled Drinking and Driving. Can you talk about what it meant to you to do that episode?
Yes, I can. These guys, we have an amazing writer's room. All of our writing team has pretty much been the same group for all 3 seasons with a couple of changes here and there, but it's an amazing group of people. They are the reason that this show is what it is, as Isabella said. And so I was lucky enough to go in and talk to them about my personal experiences, being somebody who has battled substance abuse for years, and I've known Gloria for a long time, and early on right after I got hired, actually, she was like, "We want to start writing more to you, and is it okay if we include this thing from your personal life?" And I said, "Yeah, please, let's do it, because I think it would be an interesting thing to explore." And so, I'm just very lucky that Schneider is a very 3-dimensional character. Usually this character in sitcoms is very one-dimensional. You come in, you do a bit, you say a joke, and you're out the door. It's the old trope of the wacky neighbor, and that is so not the case with this guy. This season is evidence of that. And I'm very lucky that I got to explore that. But it was, it was heavy stuff, and I got to talk to the writers' room about all the hilarious things that used to happen to me while I was drinking, and the not so hilarious things, and we got to put it in the show. And I got to say, I've had a lot of people responding on social media, mostly, just about how that episode affected them, and how we told their story, and they've been sober for a certain amount of time, and it just speaks to how much this show helps people from so many different groups. We're not the first people to talk about alcoholism on TV, but we are the first to talk about a lot of things on TV and address so many different issues for so many different people. And I think that's, to me, the importance of this show. When Netflix decided not to bring us back, we all got really sad, and we talked about it on social media, and I thought to myself, well, who's going to have sympathy for a bunch of people who make a TV show that boo-hoo, your show got canceled. It's like, yeah, we're all going to go on and work and do other things at some point, but for us, what's heartbreaking is I'm just droning on right now, huh? I just keep going.
And we're having a little monologue while you're doing.
Oh, you are?
Like,
yeah. Okay. Well,
I was sleeping.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Somebody wake Norman up. I got some important stuff to say. Hold on. Stay with us.
You were just getting to the good part.
I'm just about to get to the good part. But no, what I was saying is, it's not that fun to listen to actors complain that their show got canceled or whatever, but it's not about that. It's not about us having a job or making money or doing. It's about making this show that's really important to millions of people. Because it's rare that we get an opportunity to be a part of something that has such an effect on our culture and so many underrepresented groups. And so, it's not that we just want to make a TV show. It's we want to make this TV show for many more years to come. So hopefully, like you said, the networks saw that we were the #1 trending thing the day we got canceled, with over 700,000 tweets on
More than
on
the
Twitter,
Avengers.
which
I'm
beat
saying.
the Avengers trailer.
So we're bigger than the Avengers, is what I'm
I
hearing.
feel
That's
like
the
there's an
buzz.
audience out there for us,
Yeah.
and they're diehard. So anyway, that's my long-winded answer. Good night.
Okay, so I watch a lot of television for work, and one of the best episodes I've ever seen in my life is the funeral episode. The premiere episode, not only did it have, Rita Moreno and Gloria Estefan in a sing-a-thon, but there was just so much hilarity to that episode. Anybody, maybe Isabella, as a young Latina, seeing these legends singing in this episode, what was it like shooting that episode?
It was so much fun. What's been so interesting about this show is getting to work with legends such as Norman and Rita and Gloria and Melissa Fumero and Steph Beatrice and Miss Justina Machado. Like, everybody here is a fucking legend. Can I curse? Oh my God. Freaking legend. But we get to know them as people. And a lot of times they say, don't meet your heroes. And that can be very true. And on this set, it's never been the case. They're always better than what you expect. So that week on set, was a freaking dream. Like, you'd walk on set and it's all these like powerful Latina women freaking killing it and being geniuses and like laughing and having lunch together, and you're like, what? My God, this is my life. Oh my God, I think somebody made a mistake. It was insane. I learned so much. It was so much fun. The comedy chops, and just to see how these artists work and the way they process and how different it is, because we are very like in the family. So I know how Justina and Rita work. They just do everything effortlessly. It's very annoying. Oh no. But just to see it, it was incredible and so much fun, and they were all lovely.
Yeah.
I've got a video of rehearsal with Gloria Estefan and Rita rehearsing Ave Maria that like I just filmed because I happened to be standing there, and I was like, this needs to be captured. You know, even though they do it on the show, I was like, I need to have this on my phone. And I watch it from time to time, and it gives me goosebumps every time.
Can you airdrop me later?
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
Have you got it with you, he said.
Oh, somewhere, but it would take me a minute to find on my phone.
We have a minute.
We do?
We have a few minutes.
I'll look it up. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm always terrified to post things, though, of people, because I don't know if, it was like rehearsal, so nobody had makeup on, and I don't want to get an angry text from Rita Moreno. She doesn't care. She doesn't care at all. I'll find it. Okay.
Well, we have a few moments because I'm going to ask Mr. Lear a question. With shows like All in the Family and Good Times and The Jeffersons, you've never shied away from telling stories that needed to be told. Can you talk about what this series means to you and your legacy in television?
As somebody who's looking for the next thing to say or a story or, for a group of actors, whatever the show, I was always more interested in what was going on in the real lives of people. So when I was watching television as a kid, the biggest problem my family might have was the roast is ruined and the boss is coming to dinner. Or mom dented the fender of the car, and how do the kids help her keep it from dad? And I grew up in a family where, if it wasn't my family, up the street, down the street, or across the street, there were other things happening, real life things. And I found the comedy. I don't think there's any kind of thing we could be going through where there wasn't some comedy there too. The human condition is foolish. We are foolish, we humans. It starts with the amount of holes we have in our body. Think about it. I mean, that's foolish.
I don't want to think about that.
Anyway, it's been fun raking through everything we have all seen or had happened to us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stephen.
That question went through so many layers.
I know,
the
it really
answer,
did.
the answer is so.
Stephen, the love between Dr. Berkowitz and Rita Moreno's Lydia is probably one of my favorite pairings. Can you talk about the magical chemistry between you two?
Yeah. That was a real lucky thing for me to spend that time with Rita, because she was always one of the most important performers, like in my life when I was growing up and a kid watching her. And everybody talks about love as the hot, flashy, romantic love that always seems to come to a conclusion right before the end of the film. But what happens in life is that you lose things. You lose things continually. And how do you find love when you've lost so much? And nobody writes about that, except it was on One Day at a Time. And here is a situation in which she's in love with a ghost I'm desperately in love with her. My wife, my children have basically deserted me, and I've lost that. And there's this thing out there, which is the Alvarez family, which is this picture of improbable love. And it stood as like a flashing sign in the distance, and I had the opportunity to drive toward it. And nobody writes about that. And I felt very privileged in being able to be a part of that story.
Thank you.
That's great.
Mike, we've had the chance to discuss before what it's been like for you and all the things that you've learned from being able to see through this different lens. Can you talk a little bit about what you've learned throughout your time working on One Day at a Time?
Oh my goodness, just so much appreciation, really. I mean, it's really hard to do this without Gloria here because we're two just super codependent people right now, and have been for now 3-4 years. And, you know, I'm just extremely privileged to be able to help tell stories that don't get told and help talk about a culture that I did not grow up in, and, you know, help elevate voices that are on television. And like the funeral episode that we've been talking about is a perfect example of, I'm very proud of that episode because it's not our most emotionally deep episode, but it is a super great episode of television. Everybody's performances were just clicking. It was like, you know, it was the beginning of season 3. It's like a well-oiled machine amongst the cast. Debbie Wolf wrote an amazing script, and it felt to me, I don't want to say it in like, I don't know how this will sound really, but it was like a Frasier to me. Like it was a kind of a farcical episode with, you know, funny entrances and funny just, you know, things coming back to pay off at the end. Debbie did an amazing job constructing it. There was an A story and a B story that both like really worked really well. And so to me, I know this sounds a little like braggy or whatever, but it's because it's like we did it. But it felt like a classic episode of television, but performed by people who haven't been able to be on television that much, you know. And the jokes it wasn't like, when I say Frasier, it's not like they're doing a Caucasian episode of television. All the references were very culturally specific. It felt like we were really honoring a Latinx experience through this funeral and through the relationships that we developed in the story. And I mean, we certainly try to do that with every episode, but that was just an experience that I just kept feeling great appreciation for being able to help with, you know. And I had something else to say that got, you know.
Oh, this is the Gloria part.
Yeah.
We're making a TV show. That's it.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to say, Gloria's very enthusiastic, and I'm.
We're making a TV show.
Yes. See, that's why it's great to have her around, because she's good cop, I'm bad cop. That's kind of the way it works. The appreciation of the audience, that you feel it so much of, you know, when people are underrepresented, you feel when they come and sit in the studio audience. We did the show a couple years ago where, you know, there's a reference to Rita's character brings all this food to the baseball game, and it's in containers, and she's going through what's in each container, and none of the stuff that the container originally held has the things that are now in it, and they refer to it as a mantequilla, you know, and she says the mantequilla thing. So that's just in the script, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's, you know, the audience when she started saying that stuff erupted. Like it was like, oh my God, like it's, you know, I see it's us, and you know, I get to see myself on television a lot. And you just really felt that viscerally, people seeing themselves on television, and it was really rewarding.
Gloria's not here, but I want somebody to talk about, because what she's doing is also very groundbreaking. She directed, she acted, and wrote on the show. So who can talk about Gloria's contributions, which are absolutely amazing?
Personally, I think it's too much. I mean, enough is enough. I know I was talking nice about her, but come on.
See, that's one of the great things about what our show did, because those opportunities. Gloria was an actress before she started writing. So what an incredible thing to be able to be in the writer's room and be this incredible co-showrunner with Mike and give us so much support and love and all of that stuff and direct and write and act. I think a lot of us would like to do that. A lot of us would. And we don't have those opportunities. And that was so great about One Day at a Time is those opportunities, that show allowed for Gloria to have those opportunities. And she delivered brilliantly. She's a great actress. I mean, you couldn't even tell us apart. Right?
Can we
tell us
stay
about
to that
it?
episode? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Kudos to the hair and makeup team, by the way.
I'm worried about us whites.
You should be. We're coming for you. We're here for
I
you,
don't know how
man.
we're going to survive this.
We ready.
I want to continue to talk about that episode because I think that there was so much commentary. Like, if my ex was getting married, I would not be going to his wedding.
Yeah, but Penelope loves her kids.
Yeah.
And Victor loves his kids. And this family, that's what they love, their kids. And Penelope didn't want to be at that wedding. And nobody wanted her at that wedding. But she was there. You know what I mean? She was there. And I know lots of families like that. You don't know any families like that? No. I do, actually. Yes, I do. I would put my feelings aside for my children. I'm sure that you would too. And that's what's so beautiful about Penelope. I think you would.
Yeah.
I don't have any kids either, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Me, mom.
That's right.
We have a question from the audience. Have you ever considered adapting this show into a stage musical format?
Oh,
That is so weird because we have actually,
That is so weird.
and we were just talking about this the other day. Have you guys talked about it as well?
Well, in season 4,
Yeah.
we certainly, that's something we've discussed. doing
Brent,
it. I don't know, I
sing
mean,
something
television.
for us now.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Well, it's kind of perfect with season 4 opening in Cuba. That would
Right?
be some really great music.
Keep pitching.
It would.
Hey, Mike.
networks,
we'll
are
talk
you
after.
listening?
Yeah.
Justina, what was your favorite episode of the season?
This season, I think the funeral episode. It was so much fun for all of us. We had so much fun, and we were going crazy because Gloria Estefan was there, and we loved her, and it was so hilarious that part where Rita puts her head down and she's like, "Oh, she sings like a donkey." I mean, it's so funny because it's like her timing and Gloria, and then Gloria walked in. She knew all her lines. She had incredible timing. It was unbelievable because sometimes you're a little worried. You're like, okay, I know she's Gloria Estefan, but what's it going to be like? And she was brilliant. It was like she was part of the family forever. So that was my favorite episode of this year.
She was also so apologetic.
Yes.
She was like, "I'm so sorry," and we were like, "You're Gloria Estefan.
Exactly.
Do what you want."
I don't know how many of you guys know this, but Todd's real life wife played his love interest this season. So what was it like working with her?
Oh, it was difficult. Man, she is. No, it was a real. I mean, we had also just had a baby. Well, she had a baby. I was there. I contributed, but she did all the hard work. But our son was only 2 weeks old, and she was coming. We had him up in the dressing room and with babysitter, not by himself, and we were downstairs getting to film together, which is like, it was amazing. We got to. We never eat. It's very rare unless you're like, a huge movie star and you can say, we're doing this movie together. Actors don't get to choose when they work together. And so it's rare that a husband and wife get put together. But, Mike and Gloria are fans of India's and wrote her this amazing role. And we got to kiss on TV, which we do every day. And that was awesome. It was just it was the best. It was like a dream, and we get to have pictures of us holding our monitor on stage to prove to Crosby, our son, later on that like you were there. We did this thing, and you were there too, man.
I want to be there when you show him that.
We wouldn't let you miss it.
I would love to hear from Brent what your favorite episode was and why.
Hard. I really liked the it sounds so sad that I like this one, but I loved the episode where everyone came when Rita was in her coma. And I mean, I thought not it was so brilliantly written, but so brilliantly performed. Every time they rehearsed it, I would get choked up every time. Finally, even on the night that we shot, I thought, okay, I'm done crying. Fuck, I still cry. I mean, it was one of my favorites. It always will be. I mean, and I think there's also something special about it because Gloria and Mike had talked about they were paying homage to Maude, for those of you who don't know. And the episode that Norman did with, the entire episode was Maude on the psychiatrist's couch. And it was one whole monologue. So it has a lot of special meaning to me, that piece.
Okay, so I have 5 minutes left, and I want each of you to take a moment and talk to these amazing SAG-AFTRA members and let them know why this show deserves an Emmy. Recognition, love.
Well, you know our situation, right? You do. So who likes revenge? I mean, I could go on and on about how amazing an actress she is, how amazing an actress she is, how actor, these people deserve, based on their performances only. They are, I mean, I don't know who's been in multi-camera sitcoms, but I think it's the hardest acting. And it's because you're in between naturalistic and farcical. You're somewhere in the middle there. You have to be totally real, but also like somehow bigger, and you're kind of playing, you're not playing to the back of the house, but you're playing somewhere to the middle of the house. You're not doing a thing with your eyebrow where, you're close up and that's all you need to do, but you're waiting for laughs, and your timing's all fucked up depending on how the laughs are coming. That's different every time. It's like doing a play, but you're also doing a play in 5 days. You're learning the lines are changing every day, hopefully not that much. Depends on how.
This sounds hard, Mike.
Yeah.
I feel like we're underpaid now.
I have bad news about your pay right now, which is why I would like to reward you with an Emmy, all of you. And I really mean that. I really do. It's very, very, very difficult. Only certain people are capable of doing multi-camera acting, and I think that the subset of what people can do movies, people can do TV, it's the smallest set of people who are really, really good at it. I've been lucky enough to work with some. Ray Romano was he's perfect at it. This group of people is also perfect at it, and so that is first of all, you can get back at a streaming service. That's not your motivation, but it just would be fun, right? It would be. I want to work there again. They have a lot of great shows, but it would be hilarious. Hilarious. But on top of that, they're amazing.
That wasn't everybody.
It's so weird to brag. I'm gonna say this from the outside as if I wasn't in it. This isn't as fun as this in the sense of, I'm just saying, when there's a Latinx show or a show with a single mom and mostly women at the forefront, or shows that talk about what we talk about and it gets canceled because of lack of viewership, what happens then in the industry is the next person that comes up with a Latinx show or a show about a single mom or a show where we talk about with an LGBTQ series regular or whatever, the studios go, this doesn't make money, we can't make it. And so then the representation goes down, and then we only get white stories, which we need, but we have a lot of those. And I also don't think that you should just give Emmys to people just because they have diversity. I'm not about that. Just because you have one of each race or whatever, you don't get a pat on the shoulder. That's just what the world looks like. But I think this is a really good show that represents all of these groups, and I think it's a little scary to see this show that is critically acclaimed and so beloved get canceled because there's not enough viewership, and it makes me wonder what's going to happen when shows that aren't this good, it feels so weird to say this good, that want to represent these communities, they're not going to have a chance if we didn't with Norman and EGOT, Rita Moreno, and the talent of the writers and what we wanted to do with it. So an Emmy would be great.
Or a SAG award. I mean, there's a lot of awards.
That too.
There's a lot of awards.
SAG award. I have a SAG award. Little thing called 6 Feet Under.
Yes.
Well, yes, it's weird, but this might not be the sexiest show because I know that that's a thing that people, oh, that's sexy, this music, this. But I want to ask you, and there's a lot of great stuff out there, but where have you seen acting this good? Storytelling this good?
Yes, Machado.
That's why we deserve Emmys. We're canceled. I'm going out there. Fuck being humble.
I think we should close with the most popular word of the evening and call the Emmy we're going to get our revenge Emmy. Thank you.
Mr. Lear says it's over. Anybody else want to add anything?
I think you said it. I'm good.
Everyone's good?
I think the guys said it. I think we're good. Yeah, what they said.
SAG members, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your votes matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.